Masachet Menahot Daf Yod Zayin, continuing from Tet Zayin Amud Bet, approximately 14 lines down. First one line is a body level right before it gets wide. You about to ask a question. Piga balachama. What if someone has pigul intention while bringing the komets to the mizbeach without the levana? Is that considered a half permitting factor or not? Rabbi Yochanan halacha kmitza. Halacha is like kmitza, and just like pigul by kmitza makes it pigul. So to halacha as well, the verse of Kishmar halacha k'haktirat, like burning. Burning needs both. Therefore, walking is not considered the full permitting factor. Okay, Bishlam Shish makes sense according to Kish. Ikanam halacha levana, because also why is that considered half? It's because it's you also have a levana. Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says the comments is the entire thing. My time, what would be the reason that it's a thing? Lebanon also is brought. Gemara says, "Amar Rava, Kasavar B'Yochanan holds kol avodah she'ena materet." Any avodah that does not allow the korban to be consumed, meaning it will be consumed without this being done. Avodah hashuva hi lefagel aleh b'fnei atzma. That is enough of a significance in the avodah that you're able to make it pigul in a separate factor. And since it's not required for the korban, any intention in that process would be able to become pigul. Okay. Amar Abai says, "Harish shechitata ahad min hakivasim." One second. If someone were to slaughter one of the Shavuot lambs with a pigul intention, the avodah she'ena materet, that's an avodah that's no does not help you consume it. وبلغي عم still argue تمام شاذ شاحد ده حمد عن حوش إلى حوش البحار هتيرة حد من الزبدخين لا يخش نسر إلى البحار عرمشنا الميومر هي يقول عن القرات أحمر المئن بوكارات عاش في قلب بخمة تيرة عرمشنا كل says that Hachamim hold even an avodah does not permit anything to be eaten. You don't have a full, there's no such thing as a matir, there's no permitting factor, and there's no pickle. Where it says, "Amar le, mi sabrat lahem betanur kadosh." Do you think that the bread inside the oven becomes kadosh then? Shechitada b'kibasim mikdash le, only after the lambs are slaughtered. V'habal kadesh kibala tridam, and therefore, when avodah is coming to be magdish, it's as if it's already also becoming to be matir, to be permitted, and therefore, the slaughtering of the lambs according to Hachamim, um, won't become pigu. However, carrying, there's no kiddusha there, is excluded. Okay. Matir Rav Shimi Barashe, Aharim or Aharim say, Hikdim mulim la'aradim kasher. Right, this is a beraita that talks about someone who is having intention while slaughtering the Quran Pesach. And he says, if he were to say, I'm slaughtering the Quran Pesach, this is not the case with someone right now, but let's say the first case in the Beraita Pesach Pesachim says, Daf Samach Aleph, says, if I'm slaughtering the Quran Pesach for the sake of people who are able to eat in it, and if he has intention for someone who's pasul, like a person who doesn't have milah, it's pasul. If he says it for the people both circumcised and uncircumcised, it's kasher because it's able to be eaten. This case, however, over here it says if he had intention to bring the korban for people who are uncircumcised and circumcised, hikdim ma'abdim the pasul. So if he said circumcised first, it's kasher because they had them in first. If he said uncircumcised first, it's pasul because they're pasul. V'kamalan, when we say we said in a half a permitting back there is it's machoket, and that follows hachamim that neither pigu or any other intention affects it only during the part of the avda that has a permitting factor. So we see hachamim would hold even while slaughtering a korban pesach, where there's no matir in that factor and no magdish either, and still same opinion. Where I said Amalei misavartam b'savar behema kadosh. Do you think what the blood only becomes kadosh when you slaughter the animal? Dam sakim mekachlet. Sorry, before it's slaughtered, only after it's slaughtered it becomes kadosh. V'habal kadosh keba. That's what I mean. The Ramadan is coming to be brought to be magdish is as if it's already considered permitting. It's also being permitting. It is considered a permitting factor, and therefore slaughtering any korban would Hachamim would say it's pigul. Would say that it's not pigul when you're trying to bring it. However, bringing the blood, which is a fitting factor in Mekadesh, that would be excluded. Okay, Tashma, the middle when is apply that we say that a minha become pigul while intending to bring the komets not lavana, bikmitzah matan makli behelichu. That's regarding the kimitza, the placing of the komets in the vessel, and the bringing of the komets. My love, he looked like that. Sounds like the Bride is referring to a case where he's bringing the komets to the mdeach for burning. So we see Hamim would agree that during the bringing, pigul can be done on the comets. Question where it says la. Hey, look, the matan kli is a case where he's bringing it for the sake of putting it into the vessel. Matan kli. If that's the case, the Berta says putting in the kli and bringing. Beluch matan kli b'ale. It should have said the opposite, bringing and the kli. Switch the wording. Okay, by the way, that's part of the part that says if the coins are coming to bring the comments in the Vonan Mizbeach, Balo Lahalacha Mibale. It shouldn't have said coming to burn, it should have said bringing instead. It's halakasha. Kevin the Lachad Soy Chatrai, since bringing is to burn it. The point of bringing is to burn it. Karla that's how we call it burning, but it's really referring to bringing. And the comments of Shtika. When the Brother then says he puts the comments without saying anything, Holich Mibale. It should have said he brought it, not placed. Gemara says, Kasha, that's a question. Okay. Hektir Shum Shum Le'echol Shum Shum. If the Kohen burnt a particle of the komich that's the size of a sesame, with intention to eat a sesame-sized particle the next day or the remainder, and he did this piece by piece till he did the entire thing. Until the entire komich and the was completely finished. Rav Hista, Rav Huna, Rav Fishat, they all say it's a three-man choget. Hamar pigul, one says pagul. The Hamar pasul, one says pasul, no pigul. The Hamar kasher, one says completely good. One says lema. Mandamar pigul kermei. Maybe the one that says pigul. It's according to the mayor that you could do partial matir. Mandamar pasul kerman one says pasul. It's like Hamim who argue into me. Mandamar kasher kerbi, and one says kasher is according to Rabbi who says that intentions of different parts do not affect it. Gemara says, Mimai, why would you say that? Dilma ad kan lo kamar Rabbi meir hatam. Maybe Rameir only didn't say over there regarding pigul by a partial permitting factor. El the hisheb b'shi'ora. That's only when he had it a full measure at a time. Over here, he did not have a substantial measure, only a piece of sesame seed size. La, maybe you would not agree over here. But Hamim said in that case over there earlier that the pikul cannot be done through partial matir. Only because the person did not have intention during the avodah for the entire permitting. He didn't have intention for the whole thing. Maybe they would agree over here they did makim pikul. Ba'ad can lo ka'amar Rabbi hatam. Also, Rabbi would not say fit over here because maybe Rabbi did not say over there regarding two different intentions regarding two different parts of the bayah of a korban. Over there, he did not finish what he had to do. Over here, where he did end up finishing it. Right? The guy kept on doing it until it's burnt. Ella must be man damar pigul divrei kol. Maybe everyone would say that if it's a korban's pigul, it will be according to all opinions. Man pasul divrei one is pasul according to all. Man damar kasher divrei kol, and also one is kasher according to all. What does that mean? Man damar pigul divrei kol. When he says all with all pigul, kasavar derech achila b'kach b'terach b'kach. He holds that when a person is burning these small size items, that's the proper way of handling it, and therefore, since it's done correctly, it could be pigul. According to this pasul, according to everybody, kasavar derech achila b'kach in derech b'kach. He holds that's the way to eat it, but not burning. Eating is okay, small amounts, but not burning. And therefore, like is considered like a minhah is not burnt, and therefore can't it's pasul and not pigul because it wasn't done correctly. According to this kasher, he holds that's the way to burn it, but not the way to eat it, and therefore, since it's done correctly, it's burnt. It is kasher. Now, Amr, we say, the sharp hachmim papudita Mesechus Endin says they're called Efa and Avimi. They say the following: the burning of the comments can make pigul in the burning of the levanah. Even according to the opinion that says you can't have the intention to have matir. That only applies when you're burning the comments. You had the intention of a pigul regarding the remaining of the korban and the levana that was there. So he was intending to eat the remaining the next day, but no bad intention regarding the levana. But over here, he had intention regarding pigul intention by the levana. Is considered as if he had intention by the pigul through the whole avodah of the permitting factor. Rabbi says after being proof, because we have Mishnah. It says the rule: anybody who does kimitza puts it in the vessel, brings it or burns it. He's intending to eat something supposed to be eaten or burn something supposed to be burnt. After the wrong place, who's in the wrong time? Pigul and karet. So we see, have to mention all four together, and said that pigul can be done. Must be that it can be done for kimitza. Even Kimitza or placing or walking. My love hatirad min hanach. Now, seemingly even burning would be similar. That what mahanach ben just like by the avodot, whether or not you're having intention regarding eating or burning. Hatirad ben regarding the burning. So seemingly approved for the rabbis. The Gemara says not approved. Hanach ben le'echol ben atir. Other opinion for saying whether other avodot referring to whether or not you're burning or eating. Le'echol hatirad regarding the burning. Le'echol eating if you had intention to eat it. That's when it's pigul. Atir lo to burn it the next day. That's not pigul. Ativ Rab Nashashia Bargada committed by Rab Nashia Rab Nasya Bargada was sitting in front of Abaye. Ativ Haka Amr committed Rab Hizda. He was sitting and saying the name of Hizda. Inatira Mefagadatira. The burning of the comets cannot cause pigul in the burning of the levana. So if he's intending while burning the comets, he intends to burn the levana tomorrow. There's no pigul. But if you holds you can do half a permitting factor pigul. It only applies when he's having pigul on the remaining of the actual item. The comments materially do because the comments is permitting the remainder. Of a hachar here for the comments for levana, the comments lav to levana. The comments does not affect levana. Therefore, he cannot do pigul. My Rabbi says, Ani Mari. He says, Rabbi, please answer me. Mashmei Rab, did you say his name Rab? Maran Le? He said, in, yes. Eight Manami, and the prophet says, Marav Hizda Marav, in Atala Mithaka Hatara. Okay, Marav Yaakov, Bar Idi, Bar Shmei Rabbi, Apana Mena, Avos Mishnah. Shahada Hamid Wasim, Dechon Menu Machar, Hubi Gavach Mena Kasher. He has in our Mishnah. Dechon Mena Machar, Shem Kishrim. My time, why we say that both lambs are kasher if you had intention to eat both of them the next day. Lav Mishum the Kevin Lav Matil Lamas since the first lamb is not permitting the second one, you can't make the second. They can't make them both pigul. Same thing over here. Komets and Lebanon. The Gemara says let's not proof. Hatam hud lo ikva hamina. Over there, the two lambs are separate. Halacha the ikva hamina over here, but they put it in the same vessel. Ki hada they're considered one. Maybe it would be different. The Gemara says Amar Rabbi Himuna hamil to the Rabbi Hanina. The following was told me by Rabbi Hanina. Utkila le kula tamuda. And this was so precious to me, like my best of everything I ever learned. Hektir komets laktil levana le'achol shnei lachar. If someone burnt the komets in the mizbeach with intention to burn the levana to eat the remainder the next day, pigul is pigul. My commission, what's the hidush? If you're teaching that burning of the komets can make pigul in the burning levana, he could even say the komets makes the burning levana could do pigul. Why mention only the remainder? Even if comes from teaching that he could do pigul through an avodah of a half burning factor like burning the komets. You just mentioned burning the comments for wrong intention of the remaining. Why mention the Levana? Itarayo confidence is both halachot. Lema hektir comments la'aktir levana le'achol shirei lachar. He should have just said that if someone burnt the comments intention to burn the levana the next day or to eat the remaining the next day. Why it's mentioned specifically the burning levana to eat the remainder um, tomorrow. If seemingly had two different intentions. The reason is Huna holds that burning the comets cannot do pigul in the burning levana. And also, you cannot do pigul through a half an avodah. Here is different regarding these intentions. Because the pigul intention spreads through the entire mincha. So even though technically each one by itself is not enough for pigul, but since they involve all aspects, the levana, the komets, and everything combined, and the remainder, that's how it makes it pigul. Yes, is Rabbi Torah. Hey, Tir komets the whole someone burnt the komets in the zbeach with them to eat the remainder tomorrow. The different call according to everybody, pigul is pigul. What do you mean? It's machloket between Hamin and Meir. Allah imma divra kol pasul. It must be everybody agrees it's pasul. Lema hara is a pigul with the Meir. Why don't you say pigul according to the Meir? Why is mentioned pasul? And according to everybody, the Gemara says, "Atana derei akol nitnu." When the person was repeating the Braita, he said divrei akol according to everybody. Pigul pasul mechalatva. He must have made a mistake between saying pigul and pasul. Right? So he made that mistake. He couldn't have not made a mistake where it says everybody says this and says that. Meaning, his mistake must have been in regarding to the psak. Instead of just saying pigul, he said pasul. However, he would not have made a mistake in the rabbis' names and saying Rameir instead of Divrei HaKol according to everybody. That's why we assume that word was the mistake. New Mishnah, new Perek. Someone who does Kmitza and with intention the Chol Davar in the Torah to eat something that sounds to be eaten. like the comments. To burn something is not allowed to be burnt, like there are extras. Kasher is kasher. It has intention to eat something at the wrong time that's supposed to be eaten, or burn something that's supposed to be burnt at the wrong time. It is stated less than kazayit, kasher. If you want to eat half a kazayit at the wrong time and burn half a kazayit at the wrong time, kasher is kasher. Because eating and burning do not combine. Rabbi Yassim, Rabbi Yochanan, my time at the Bila was the reason Rabbi Yamar Knapasus Vehem, Mehe Achol, Yachel, besides the Vachlamav. If someone were to eat the meat of the Shlamim, it's become pigo. Why is mentioned Mehe Achol, Yachel, double lashon of consuming? Beshte Achol because it's two different words of eating. Ehad Achel Adam, one's referring to eating person, but Achel Mzech, one eating by the burning of the Zech. The Melachal teach you. Shem Shemachshim, just like a person can do pigo regarding intention of eating by a person. Kach Mechashevim, Bachat Mzech, to the person's the intention of a burning mizbeach also can ruin it. Also regarding mizbeach to mizbeach. So just like a intention from mizbeach can ruin mizbeach stuff, so too a person's intention from mizbeach can ruin it. So too vice versa as well. Mizbeach to adam. Okay. My time, why is it understand this? Since the Torah mentioned burning as a word of eating, that's how we understand it, right? So the fact that the Torah said eating, didn't say burning, it said eating, must be there connected. But how do the Chachamim argue against that? The fact that I mentioned eating, the teaching you there's no difference between one intention regarding burning or eating. Or does it make a difference whether or not you're changing intention regarding the burning of the be'ach? Either way, intention ruins it. In Amit Ibn Ezra, just like achila, eating has to do with kzayit. Also, in order to burn, it has to be kzayit. But regardless, the word achila is okay to say by burning. The Bezer according to Bezer, how do you argue against that? In Ken, as the case, if the Torah was mentioning that, Torah mentioning that, the Torah im he'achol ye'achel, iname ye'achol ye'achel. If that's the case, the Torah was not teaching any other chidush. According to Bezer, he says that the Torah should have used the same word, the same language twice. He'achol he'achel or ye'achol ye'achel. My he'achol ye'achel. Why two different wording, two different forms of the same word? Shaman Tati must be teaching two halachot. First halacha is burning has to be at least a kzayit, and second that the intention, even for something that's meant to be by a person on ve'ach, they can ruin each other.